That damn brother of mine. For 175 million, he told me to go on a blind date with a rich lady in his place. He told me to pretend to be him and be a good little boy who obeys her every command. To win her over. I'll go, but I'm not planning to be a simp like that guy. Instead, I'll use my own way to meet this beautiful female tycoon who owns a 35 trillion fortune. Arriving at the restaurant, I recognized her at first sight. She sat by the window, head down, checking her phone, fingers swiping rapidly. On the table was an exquisite handbag and a glass of red wine that looked very expensive. I pulled out a chair and slumped down. She looked up and sized me up from head to toe, from my messy hair to my wrinkled t-shirt. Her gaze finally stopped. At my muddy beat-up shoes, her brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. You are Jibadat? Her voice was cold, like ice cubes dropping into a glass. I nodded without saying a word. The waiter stepped forward and handed me a menu thicker than a brick. I opened it to take a look. I knew all the characters, but when put together, I had no idea what the dishes actually were. But the prices, I saw those clearly. Even the cheapest soup was over $1 million. I slammed the menu shut with a loud thud. Give me a bowl of hand-pulled noodles, the 21,000, own kind. The waiter was stunned. The professional smile on his face froze like a piece of plastic. Bai Ningbing, sitting opposite me, was also dumbfounded. She looked at me for the first time with a hint of genuine emotion in her eyes. It wasn't disgust, but sheer confusion. Sir, we don't serve hand-pulled noodles here. The waiter's voice was losing patience. Forget it then. Just give me a glass of water. Make it hot. After saying that, I looked at Bai Ningbing and grinned. Ms. Bai, you're beautiful and kind-hearted, so this meal is on you. I'm a bit short on cash lately. The atmosphere suddenly sank into silence. Bai Ningbing looked at me, her beautiful eyes narrowing like a cat, getting ready to hunt. I could feel my older brother screaming in my head, "You're dead, you idiot! My 175 million is gone." But inside, I felt a bit of a thrill. Bai Ningbing said nothing, just kept staring at me. Her gaze was incredibly sharp, like a surgical scalpel wanting to dissect me from the inside out. For some reason, I just took her gaze head on. I picked up the glass of water the waiter just brought and took a sip. You aren't much like the Jibadat I know. She finally spoke, her finger tapping the table rhythmically. People change. I put the glass down and spoke with total conviction, especially when they're broke. She seemed to be choked up by my words for a few seconds. Then, the corner of her mouth twitched into a smirk. How much money do you want? Here it is, this familiar routine. My brother had warned me over and over that if she asked this, I must act like money is beneath me and say I came for love. I cleared my throat. Not much, just enough for this meal. I reckon the dishes you ordered plus that bottle of wine will be around 28 to 35 million, right? I don't want to owe you a favor, Ms. Ningbing. She burst out laughing. You're very interesting. I've seen people who want to bleed me dry, and I've seen those who pretend to be noble. But someone as thick-skinned as you, coming here to mooch a meal, you're definitely the first. Mooching isn't shameful. I picked up the napkin on the table and wiped my mouth. What's shameful is having no money but still trying to act cool. She waved to call the waiter over. Give him a portion of the ribeye steak, by the way, open. A bottle of Domaine Conti wine. After that, she looked at me again. Today is my treat, but I have one question. I made a hand gesture for her to go ahead. After all, who are you? She leaned forward slightly and that pleasant scent wafted over. Jibadat isn't like you. He doesn't have the guts. My heart skipped a beat. Exposed that quickly? But my face didn't show it at all. I am Jibadat. If you don't believe me, you can check my ID. She shook her head. No need. No matter how well a person disguises themselves, their eyes don't lie. In his eyes, there is only greed and flattery, but in yours, she seemed to be looking for the right word. It's eat as fast as possible, and then bolt. I couldn't help but laugh. Stop smiling, miss. That's not very kind of you. I'm so hungry my stomach is sticking to my back. Right now, who wouldn't want to finish quickly and leave? The steak was served, a very large piece with the bone still in. I picked up the knife and fork, clumsily cut a small piece, and put it in my mouth. The flavor was okay. Aren't you afraid I'll get angry? She raised her wine glass and gently swirled it, the red liquid dancing inside. Angering me won't bring you any benefits. I swallowed the beef and took a sip of water. Of course I'm afraid, but I can't let my stomach stay empty. Besides, what can you do to me? Find someone to beat me up or make me disappear from this city? I looked at her and said very seriously, Ms. Bai, we are both adults. You're looking for my brother simply because you find Him easy to control and can satisfy some of your special needs. And my brother is looking for you only because he's targeting your money. Both are selling something. It's just the product that's different. Why pretend to be all innocent and pure? My words were very blunt and very harsh. I saw her face gradually turn cold. Do you know what you're saying? There was no longer any hint of a smile in her voice, only bone-chilling coldness. I know. I continued cutting the steak and eating heartily. What I said is the truth, and the truth always hurts. Do you want to die? Those words were practically hissed through her teeth. I put down my cutlery and wiped my mouth. No. I looked straight into her eyes, enunciating every word. I just want to live. To live. With dignity, not bowing to anyone. The two of us just stared at each other, the air thick. With the smell of gunpowder, I felt like my 175 million was completely gone and I might even get a beating. But, strangely, I didn't feel panicked at all. I was even a bit excited. After a long time, she suddenly picked up her phone and dialed a number. Investigate someone for me. Jibadat. Hand over all his files to me, including whether he has a brother or not. Hanging up, she raised her glass again and took a sip. Now we'll play a game first. By the time my people find out your background, you'd better have thought of a good story to convince me why I shouldn't throw you out of this window. I followed her gaze. Out the window. Falling from the 38th floor, I guess. Not even an intact corpse would remain. I picked up my water and took another sip. Fine, then let's talk. If I tell a good story, can I pack this steak to go? Bai Ningbing stared at me, stunned for 3 seconds, then burst out laughing again, this time even harder than before, to the point where tears almost came out. Bai Ningbing's phone rang very quickly. She answered with a yes, then hung up and looked at me. Jiba Shu, twin brother of Jibadat, a jobless drifter who lives on odd jobs. Tell me, how much money did he give you to come here and risk your life in his place? I poked the last piece of steak and stuffed it into my mouth. Just for 175 million? You dare to talk to me like that? She raised an eyebrow, seemingly finding the amount a bit ridiculous. If not, then what? For love? Do you believe that, Ms. Bai? She didn't say anything else. She just used that scrutinizing gaze to look at me. At that moment, at the restaurant entrance, there was suddenly some noise. 2 men and a woman walked in. The man in the lead wore a flashy, ridiculous white suit, his hair slicked back as if licked by a cow. Ningbing, so you're here. As soon as he walked up, he tried to grab Bai Ningbing's hand, but she skillfully dodged him. His eyes fell on me, filled with undisguised hostility and contempt. This is my friend Jibadao, Bai Ningbing said in a flat voice, but her eyes were on me, seemingly wanting to see how I'd react. Friend? I inwardly pondered that word. The woman next to the man in the white suit, heavily made up, giggled. Ningbing, this friend of yours is dressed very simply. Which street did you pick him up from? As soon as these words came out, all 3 of them burst into laughter. I wasn't angry, just felt it was a bit noisy. I picked up my water and took a sip, then looked at the heavily made up woman. Your nose is crooked. Her laughter stopped abruptly. She instinctively reached up to fix her nose. What nonsense are you talking about? It's not nonsense. I'm looking at you very seriously. The artificial cartilage in your nose bridge is a bit tilted. And your chin? Did you have that done too? The angle is a bit weird. I suggest you go get it fixed. Otherwise, it'll leak when it rains. The woman's face immediately turned as red as a rooster's. The man next to her also looked quite displeased. Only the man in the white suit maintained his composure, but his eyes had turned cold. This friend sure talks big. I wonder what prestigious place you work at. On the sidewalk, honestly, my job is contemplating human life. Bai Ningbing couldn't help, but burst out laughing. The white-suited guy's face completely soured. Ningbing, where? Did you find this weirdo? His tone held a hint of interrogation. Does someone like this even deserve to sit at the same table as you? Bai Ningbing gently swirled her wine and said nothing. She's throwing the problem back to me. I stood up. Standing half a head taller than the white-suited guy, I looked down at his slick hair and said, There's a fly on your head. He was startled for a moment. How? Can there be one? You're right. I must have seen it wrong. I sat back down and picked up my glass again. It could just be that your head is so shiny it's reflecting the light. The guy in the white suit immediately clenched his fists. You! He pointed at me, too angry for words. Young master. Chu, don't get angry with this kind of person. Another man hurriedly tried to mediate. He looked at me with calculating eyes. This brother looks like a new face. What big business are you working on to catch the eye of Ningbing? You certainly aren't an ordinary person. This was clearly flattery. meant to set me up. If I had played along and acted all proud, I'd have lost the upper hand immediately. I shook my head. It's no big business. I just help people solve some problems to earn a bit of hard-earned money. Oh, solving what kind of problems? Young Master Chu in the white suit started to get interested. He thought he had caught me. Tell us about it so we can learn. Let's see how you win Ningbing over. For example, going on a blind date for someone else? After saying that, I intentionally glanced at Bai Ningbing. Her eyes flickered for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. Young Master Chu's face, however, became extremely colorful. A blind date? Ningbing? Bai Ningbing finally spoke. Chu Kai, since when was my business any of your concern? Her voice wasn't loud, but it was very cold. If you're so bored after eating, go run a few laps. Don't be an eyesore here. Chu Kai's face turned red, then white. He glared at me fiercely, as if wanting to eat me alive. Fine, fine. Bai Ningbing, you're good. He spat out those bitter words and turned to leave. The other two hurriedly followed. The restaurant returned to its quiet state. You sure have a lot of guts. Bai Ningbing looked at me. I didn't know if she was praising or mocking me, mostly because they were just too stupid, or just mocking them, mainly because they are way too stupid. Aren't you afraid he'll retaliate? Chu Kai's family is in real state and has some serious muscle in this city. I'm terrified, I sighed. That's why I need to bail ASAP. Ms. Bai, is that steak ready to go? If I don't leave now, I might not leave at all. Bai Ningbing looked at me and suddenly asked a completely unrelated question. Jibashu, do you want to make some money? I answered honestly, of course. I even dream about it. Good. She took out a business card and placed it on the table. Come to this address tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm very satisfied with your performance today. I have a job that's a perfect fit for you. After saying that, she turned and left. I stood there dazed, staring at the gold-embossed black business card. It only had an address, a surname, and a phone number. I picked up the card and then looked at the ribeye steak on the table that I hadn't finished. The waiter was already standing by with a to-go box. I suddenly felt that tonight's meal might be worth much more than I imagined. I arrived at the appointed location, right on time. It was Bai Ningbing's company. A very beautiful receptionist saw me and gave me a professional smile, asking who I was looking for. I handed over the card. She glanced at it, and her smile immediately became respectful. Sir, CEO Bai is expecting you. Please, follow me. I followed her through a massive open-plan office. Everyone was hunched over, typing away, but not a single soul looked up at me. Bai Ningbing's office was located at the very end of the hall. Pushing the door open, I saw Bai Ningbing sitting behind a massive desk. She was reviewing some documents. Seeing me walk in, she pointed to the chair opposite her. Sit down. I sat down in size up her office. It was huge and empty. The interior was in cold tones, black, white, and gray, just like her. Not a hint of warmth anywhere. Want something to drink? She asked without even looking up. Water. She pressed a button on the intercom to have someone bring water. Only then did she put down the folder in her hand. Sleep well last night? It was okay, except the steak I took home was cold. It didn't taste great even after I zapped it in the microwave. She laughed at my answer. Jibashu, I'll keep it brief. I need a boyfriend. She intentionally emphasized the word boyfriend. I took a sip of water and said nothing, waiting for her to continue. As you've seen, there are plenty of flies like Chu Kai around me. My family is also pushing me, arranging endless, pointless blind dates. It's annoying. So you need someone to help manage these headaches. I finished the sentence for her. Smart, she said, and you're a perfect fit. Why me? Because you've got guts, you're thick-skinned, and you don't. Play by the rules. Most importantly, I don't see greed in your eyes. I've met too many men. When they look at me, their eyes just scream money, but not you. When you look at me, your eyes only scream big tits. I couldn't even argue with that logic. She continued, what I need you to do is simple. Appear. When I need you to, pretend to be my boyfriend and chase away all the men trying to get close to me. Do it your way. Sounds like a bodyguard / human shield. You could say that. Of course, it's not for free. She took a contract out of her drawer and pushed it toward me. Sign it. Monthly salary is 350 million. Plus, every time you successfully resolve a problem, the bonus is 175 million. Monthly salary of 350 million. I looked at the number on the contract and felt my heartbeat quicken. I used to work myself to death just to make 17.5 to 21 million a month. How many bricks would I have to carry to earn 350 million? And just like that, I had a 350 million salary, a car, and a credit card. This world is freaking crazy. Any other issues? Yes. I stood up. CEO Bai, it's lunchtime now. As your newly appointed boyfriend. Can I have lunch with you? I haven't tried your company cafeteria yet. Bai Ningbing was stunned. She probably didn't expect my first request after being hired would be to mooch a meal. She looked at me for a few seconds, then helplessly shook her head. Our company doesn't have a cafeteria. Then she picked up the intercom. Xiaolin, order 2 lunch sets from Van Din restaurant and bring them to my office. Hanging up, she looked at me with the look of resignation like, I give up on you. Jibashu, I'm starting to regret this. I feel like I just invited a big problem into my life. I smiled. CEO Bai, don't worry. I have a very strong professional ethos. I take the money, I do the work. You feed me, I swat the flies. It's a fair trade. I drove the Mercedes G-Class, which was worth more than my life, back to the rundown apartment complex I was renting. The car was too big and the streets too narrow. I had to struggle for a while before I found a good spot to squeeze it in. Along the way, I attracted countless stares from the local elders. My brother, Jibadat, was crouching at my door. Seeing me was like seeing a savior. He immediately rushed over. Bakshu, where? Were you yesterday? I called. But you didn't pick up. Did you screw everything up? Did Ms. Bai send someone to break your leg? I pulled out my keys to open the door, ignoring him. He followed me inside like a lost puppy. As soon as he looked around, he saw the luxury items I tossed on the sofa, all printed with logos. He didn't even recognize. His eyes went wide. Where did you get the money for this? The 105 million you promised me? I already spent it in advance. You can buy this much with 105 million? He picked up a shirt to check the price tag and gasped. A single shirt cost tens of millions. He looked at me like I was an alien. Baksu, tell me the truth. What the hell did you do yesterday? Did you do something shady with that Snow White lady? Is this hush money she gave you? I almost choked on my water. Can't you think about anything normal? She and I are a couple now. A couple? Jibadat's mouth fell open, wide enough to fit an entire egg. How did that happen? Weren't you supposed to annoy her? Why would she pick someone as broke as you? She just likes my type. No way. I then explained it to him. In short, from now on, I am her boyfriend. Your business is over. Jibadat slumped to the floor, eyes lifeless. It's over. My goddess, my wealth and luxury. All gone. I looked at his useless state and gave him a kick. Get up. She's just a woman. Is it that serious? Just a woman? He screamed at me. She's a mobile ATM, a ticket into high society. What the hell do you know? I really didn't know. I nodded, pulled the G63 car key from my pocket and jingled it in front of him. I only know this. Jibadat's eyes immediately glued themselves to that key. Is that a Mercedes? His voice was trembling. Bai Ningbing gave it to me. She said I needed it to get around easier. I tossed the key onto the table. She said my previous mode of transport was too trashy and didn't suit her. Jibadat crawled over and cradled the key in his hands like it was a holy relic, turning it over to admire it. A G-Wagon. It's really a G-Wagon. Oh, my God. He suddenly looked up, and the look in his eyes had completely changed from contempt to worship, borderline fanatical. You really are my biological brother. He hugged my leg tight, tears and snot everywhere. Teach me. How did you do it? What kind of love potion did you give her? I disgustedly pushed him away. There's no secret formula. I just let her see your true face. Turns out, she finds me a bit more tolerable than you. No way. I wrote poems for her, sang love songs for her, said good morning and good night every single day. How could she? Your poems were probably plagiarized, and your singing was likely so off-key it drifted into the Pacific Ocean. I hit him with the harsh truth. Jibadat, your biggest problem is that you're not sincere. You don't love Bai Ningbing, you love her money. She's seen plenty of people like you. Jibadat went silent like I'd hit a nerve. What about you? You're not after her money? I am. I answered very bluntly, but I'm open about it. I told her straight up that I'm only after her cash. She told me straight up that she only needs me as a human shield. We call this a mutual agreement. Each of us gets what we need. Jibadat stared at me as if it were the first time he'd ever met me. Bakshu, you've changed. Everyone changes. I repeated the line I'd said to Bai Ningbing yesterday, especially when someone is willing to pay you 350 million a month. I patted his shoulder. All right, stop crying. Your brother will take care of you from now on. So, how much are you short? Jibadat's eyes instantly lit up. He rubbed his hands together and grinned. Not much. I'm just eyeing a pair of limited edition sneakers, and Xiaolei's handbag needs an upgrade too. I looked at his pathetic state and shook my head. The simp blood is truly etched into his soul, beyond saving. On my third day as Bai Ningbing's boyfriend, I received my first official mission. There's a charity banquet tonight. Come with me. Bai Ningbing's voice on the phone was very calm. No, I'm on the sofa playing games, almost about to win. Chukai will be there too. Lately, he's been pursuing a female celebrity. Tonight, he plans to propose publicly at the banquet. Oh well, I wish him luck. I missed a skill and got wrecked by my opponent. I don't want him to succeed. That female celebrity is an artist my company just signed. She has a lot of potential. I don't want her ruined by trash like Chukai. So what do you want me to do? Object to the marriage? Something like that. I want you to turn his proposal into a disaster. Make him and that actress so embarrassed, they'll want to crawl into a hole. This one is high difficulty. I rubbed my chin. That'll cost extra. 350 million. Deal. I immediately quit the game. Send me the address. Mission accomplished. Guaranteed. Hanging up the phone, I whistled and went to the wardrobe to pick out an outfit. The luxury stuff Bai Ningbing bought for me finally has a use. That evening, I drove the Mercedes G-Class and arrived right on time at the hotel. As I tossed the keys to the valet, I felt like my life had leveled up. Bai Ningbing was already waiting for me. As soon as she appeared, she became the center of attention. I walked up beside her and naturally took her arm. Her body stiffened for a second, but she quickly relaxed. Not bad. You actually looked the part. I winked at her. I'm a professional, remember? As soon as we stepped inside, Chukai's eyes scanned us like spotlights. He was standing with the female star wearing a white chiffon dress, looking very pure. Seeing me with my arm around Bai Ningbing, his face immediately darkened. Ningbing, you actually brought him? Is there a problem with bringing my boyfriend to a banquet? Chukai's face darkened further. The female star beside him, named Anqi, sized me up curiously with a hint of scrutiny. Young Master Chu, is this Sister Ningbing's boyfriend? He's quite the talent. Chukai snorted. Beside him was a girl named Anqi. She curiously sized me up with a probing gaze. Young Master Chu, is this Sister Bang's boyfriend? He's quite a talent. Jokai snorted coldly. Talent? A snort of derision followed. He's just a boy toy living off a woman. I didn't even bother to acknowledge him. Instead, I looked at Anqi. You're Anqi, right? I've seen your movies. And Chi's eyes lit up. Really? Which one? The one where you played a college student who got kidnapped and sold to the mountains only to fall in love with your kidnapper. And Chi's smile froze. That movie was a total stain on her career. The netizens had roasted her into oblivion for it. I thought your acting was super realistic, I said with total sincerity, especially the ending where you cried and screamed, even if he beats me or forbids me from leaving, he gave me a home. That was pure Best Actress energy. You portrayed Stockholm Syndrome with such deep insight. Anqi's face had gone beyond pale. It was unrecognizable. Beside me, Bai Ningbing's shoulders were shaking violently as she struggled to hold back her laughter. Chukai looked like he wanted to kill someone. Damn it! Do you even know how to talk? Did I say something wrong? I played the innocent card. Wasn't that movie Ms. Ann's representative work? I thought I was praising her acting. Around us, people started whispering. Anqi's eyes were already rimmed with red. She looked at Chukai with teary eyes. Brother Kai, he's bullying me. Chukai was absolutely heartbroken. He pointed right at my face. You just wait. After that, he dragged Anqi away. Well done, Bai Ningbing said, handing me a glass of champagne. The appetizer is over. The main course is coming up. Are you ready? I clinked glasses with her. In my dictionary, there's no such thing as ready. I prefer to wing it. Halfway through the banquet, the MC suddenly used an excited tone to announce that a very romantic moment was about to happen. The lights dimmed and a spotlight hit the center of the stage. Chukai held a massive bouquet of roses and knelt on one knee, looking at Anqi intently. Anqi, meeting you is the luckiest thing in my life. He started reciting lines. So cheesy they make your teeth fall out. And Chi's eyes were moist, looking so moved she couldn't speak. The entire hall went silent, waiting to witness this romantic proposal. Bai Ningbing gave my arm a gentle squeeze. It's your turn. I nodded and grabbed a plate of cake from the table, putting some force into a direct throw toward the stage. The plate traced a perfect arc through the air and landed right on Chukai's perfectly styled head. Splat! Cream and cake crumbs coated his face. The hall fell into a deathly silence. Everyone was dumbfounded under the stage lights. On Chukai's head sat a brown piece of tiramisu, cream dripping down his cheeks and landing on his nose like bird droppings. The roses in his hands fell to the floor, and the diamond ring he'd prepared for the proposal rolled away to the side. Damn it, who did that? What? Chukai's roar broke the dead silence. I leisurely stood up, still holding my fork. So sorry, my hand slipped. I looked apologetic. It's too slippery here. I couldn't get a grip. Every eye immediately turned to me. Some in shock, some in confusion, and some in pure satisfaction. When Chukai realized it was me, his eyes turned bloodshot, looking like a raging bull. You! It was you! God damn it! He pushed through the crowd and charged at me like a madman. Several security guards quickly rushed over to block him. Let me go! I'm going to kill him! Chukai was still struggling, and she had also reacted. She grabbed her dress and ran over, pointing at my nose and screaming, You did that on purpose. Why did you ruin Brother Kai's proposal? I really didn't mean it. I looked at her with total innocence. I just thought young Master Chu's kneeling posture looked a bit like Uncle Vuong, the shoemaker downstairs. I got too absorbed in watching and accidentally let the plate fly. The crowd nearby heard this and burst into laughter. They started pointing and whispering about Chukai, who was still wearing a cake on his head, and Chi's face was flushed with rage, tears welling in her eyes. You're shameless. Hey lady, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want, I said sternly. I'm just an innocent bystander. If you want to blame someone, blame your proposal for being too moving, or blame the hotel for their slippery plates. The hotel manager, dripping with sweat, ran over. Mr. Chu, Mr. G, let's talk this through calmly. Calmly, my ass. Chukai shoved the manager aside. Today, it's either him or me. Bai Ningbing stepped forward. She looked at Chukai coldly. Chukai, have you made enough of a scene? Ningbing, you're still going to protect him? Chukai looked incredulous. He's done this, and you're still taking his side? What kind of love potion did he give you? He's my boyfriend. Bai Ningbing's tone left no room for doubt. You're going to hit my boyfriend right in front of me? Did you think I'd just stand by and watch? She paused, her gaze sweeping across the room. What happened? Today was just an accident. Anyone who dares to spread rumors or gossip about this should know that I, Bai Ningbing, won't be polite. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried an authority that couldn't be resisted. The laughter in the hall gradually died out. Chukai looked at Bai Ningbing, and then at me, his face as sour as if he just swallowed a fly. With Bai Ningbing protecting me, he couldn't touch me today. He hissed through his teeth, we'll see about that. After that, he swiped the cake off his head and dragged the sobbing NT away, walking straight out without looking back. A grand proposal had turned into a total farce. The banquet couldn't continue. The guests began to leave in small groups. As they left, they didn't forget to glance back at me with very complicated emotions. I followed Bai Ningbing out of the hotel and into the car. Bai Ningbing handed over a check for 350 million. Your performance today exceeded my expectations. I took the check and whistled, mostly because young Master Chu cooperated so well. That head of his was like a target. The sound it made was so satisfying. Bai Ningbing started the car. She wasn't smiling, just looking straight ahead. Suddenly, she spoke. Jibachu, you've completely offended Chukai today. He won't let this go. I know, but so what? I've got you as my backup, right? I said with a totally reckless tone. Bai Ningbing turned her head to look at me. You trust me that much? If I don't trust you, who can I trust? I stuffed the check into my pocket. We're grasshoppers on the same string now. If I drown, you're going to choke on a few gulps of water too. Bai Ningbing went silent. The car sped along, the night scenery outside blurring past. After a long time, I heard her mutter under her breath, Jibashu, you really are a madman. I replied smugly, thanks for the compliment. After ruining Chukai's proposal, I had a few days of peace. Every day I'd drive the G-Wagon to the market and then play games at home. Life was better than a god's. Jibadat came over a few times. Every time he'd ask after me with fake concern, dropping heavy hints that he wanted me to take him out to broaden his horizons, meaning he wanted to squeeze some money out of me. I kicked him out every time. Today, while I was playing chess with Old Man Trung in the neighborhood, Bai Ningbing's phone rang again. Come to my house, right now. Her voice sounded more annoyed than usual. Trouble, big trouble, my family's here. I hung up the phone, said goodbye to Old Man Trung, and took a G-Wagon straight to Bai Ningbing's place she lived in. A high-end villa complex with security so tight it was like a military base. I gave Bai Ningbing's name and the guards finally let me in. Bai Ningbing's villa was massive, with a garden and a swimming pool. When I walked into the living room, it was already packed with people. A middle-aged man who looked very authoritative, likely Bai Ningbing's father. A middle-aged woman with well-maintained looks, was sighing incessantly, probably her mother, beside. Then was a young man maybe, 27 or 28, dressed very sharply, but his eyes screamed, shrewd and calculating. Bai Ningbing sat on the sofa, looking quite displeased. When I walked in, everyone's eyes fell on me. Is he the boyfriend you were talking about? The middle-aged man asked, his voice booming with the tone of someone used to giving orders. Bai Ningbing nodded. Dad, Mom, brother, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, Ji Bashu. I smiled at them as a greeting. Hello, and the uncle. Hello, big brother. No one bothered to acknowledge me. Her mother stared at me from head to toe, her gaze like an x-ray. Young man, what does your family do? My parents are ordinary workers, ma'am. They're retired now. Oh. She dragged out the sound, the disappointment in, her tone undisguised. And where are you working currently? I don't have a job yet. I'm temporarily unemployed. Ma'am. As soon as those words came out, the atmosphere in the room turned. Frosty. Her brother let out a cold snicker. An unemployed drifter? Ningbing? Are you kidding me? You went looking for a boyfriend and found this? Bai Duong, watch your tone. Am I wrong? Bai Duong spread his arms. A penniless brat with no job and no background. Why do you think he's targeting you? Don't you know you're making the Bai family lose face? My business is none of your concern. Seeing the two siblings about to have a full-blown argument, her father finally spoke up. Everyone, be quiet, he slammed his hand on the table, and the room went silent instantly. He looked at me, his eyes sharp as a hawk's. Jibachu, right? Regardless of who you are or what tricks you used to get close to my daughter, I'll give you a choice. He took a checkbook from his pocket, scribbled a sequence of numbers, tore it, and threw it on the table. Here is 3.5 billion. Take it and leave. Never show your face in front of my daughter again. This familiar script is happening again. To be honest, looking at that check on the table, I was actually tempted. I've never seen that much money in my life. Bai Ningbing's gaze was very complex, anxious, uneasy, and a flicker of an emotion I couldn't quite place. Everyone in the living room was watching me, waiting for my choice. I picked up the check and right in front of everyone, I tore it in half. Uncle, I think you've misunderstood. In front of everyone, tear it in half. Uncle, perhaps you've misunderstood me. To stay by Bai Ningbing's side for the money. Bai Duong looked like he'd just heard the biggest joke in the world. Not for the money? Then, what for? Because of her personality? Give me a break. People like you, I've seen plenty. That's right, I nodded, admitting that it was indeed for her. I turned back to look at Bai Ningbing, my eyes suddenly becoming incredibly affectionate. I love her. I love her kindness, her resilience, and everything about her. In my heart, she is priceless. Don't talk about 3.5 billion. Even for 30 billion? No, no, no. I wouldn't trade her for anything. I spoke so earnestly that I almost believed it myself. The living room fell into silence. Bai Ningbing's parents and brother all stared at me, as if I were a mental patient. Only Bai Ningbing kept her head down. I couldn't see her expression, but I saw her shoulders shaking slightly again. I knew she was holding back laughter. Crazy, truly crazy, her mother muttered to herself. Her father's face was as black as a burnt pot. Fine, you say it's not for the money? He was so angry he laughed. I want to see how long you can keep up this act. Starting today, I'm locking all of Ningbing's cards. I've already given orders at the company to freeze all her dividends and shares so she won't get a single cent. I want to see if a Bai Ningbing with nothing to her name can still be loved by a not-for-the-money boyfriend like you. Her brother quickly followed them out. Before leaving, he gave me a vicious glare. Bai Duong patted my shoulder and lowered his voice. Kid, I gotta hand it to you for having guts, but I suggest you quit while you're ahead. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. After saying that, he left too. I slumped onto the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief. Mission accomplished. So, was my performance just now worthy of an Oscar? Bai Ningbing looked up. Her eyes were slightly red, but a smile played on her lips. Ji Bachu, you've caused me a huge problem again. I shrugged. That's on you for bringing it up. Anyway, what's next? Are you really penniless now? Pretty much. She nodded, but her face looked relieved. But I won't starve. She reached her hand out towards me. Let's go. CEO. Jay was broke now. As for the boyfriend who doesn't care about money, let's go eat at a street stall. I hesitated for a moment, then took her hand. Her palm was very warm after that day. Bai Ningbing really was bankrupt. She moved out of the big villa and into the cramped, rundown apartment I was renting. When Jibadat saw Bai Ningbing dragging her suitcase into our place, his jaw dropped so hard he nearly fainted. What's going on? I'm bankrupt, Bai Ningbing said. nonchalantly as if she were talking about the weather. Then she moved into my bedroom, which only had one bed, and stayed there while I slept on the sofa. My brother was quite excited at first, thinking his chance had finally come. Every day he'd hang around the house, serving tea and pouring water, trying to suck up to Bai Ningbing. As it turned out, Bai Ningbing didn't even give him the time of day. The cheesy poems he wrote were treated like scrap paper. When he sang off-key love songs, Bai Ningbing would immediately put on her headphones. After a few days, Jibadat's fragile heart was shattered into pieces. He finally faced reality and slunk away. Without the aura of a CEO, Bai Ningbing seemed like a different person. She'd wear cartoon pajamas and fight over the TV remote with me if I was too busy gaming. To pay attention to her, she'd sneakily pull my internet cable, and while I was cooking, she'd sneakily snack on the cucumbers I'd just sliced from behind me. She was no longer the arrogant queen, but more like a cooperative roommate, a slightly annoying roommate, but not a hateful one. That night, I was gaming until midnight. I went out to the living room for water and saw Bai Ningbing sitting alone on the balcony, staring blankly at the night view. I walked over and handed her a beer. Something on your mind? She took the can and took a sip. Nothing. I just think this is actually quite nice. Nice? How? You're broke, you don't have a mansion to live in, and you have to squeeze into this place every day with an unemployed guy like me. But it's very comfortable. She turned to look at me, her eyes sparkling in the night. No need to put on an act anymore, no need to deal with annoying people and things. It's been years since I've been this relaxed. She suddenly smiled. Jibachu, did you know? My dad freezing my assets didn't actually affect me much. He can't touch my private investment company. I was stunned. Then why did you move? Here? Because I thought it would be fun. I wanted to see what a guy who claims it's not about the money would do once I had nothing. And the result? The result is you're more of a jerk than I thought. She glared at me but added, and a bit more reliable than I expected. I didn't say anything. I opened a beer and took a sip. The night breeze was a bit chilly, but felt great. Jibachu. She suddenly called my name. Yeah, let's make this fake relationship real. I spat out my mouthful of beer. I started coughing uncontrollably, my face turning red. What did you say? I thought I'd misheard. I said, let's really be together. She looked at me, her gaze very serious. Not an act, not a deal. Be my real boyfriend. I looked at her, my mind going completely blank. I had to admit she was beautiful. Over the time we'd lived together, I had indeed developed some feelings for her, but it was just a little bit. We were from two different worlds. She was a phoenix on high. I was just a lowly guy. You're drunk. I turned away, not daring to look into her eyes. I'm not drunk. I'm perfectly sober. Jibakshu, I like you. I like your honesty. I like how you never play by the rules. I even like how you troll other people. When I'm with you, I feel like a living human being, not a money-making machine. Her words were like a stone thrown into the still lake of my heart, creating ripple after ripple. I admit my heart skipped a beat, but logic told me no. The contract between us and the rule about not falling in love for real was still clearly there. I took a deep breath to calm myself down. We aren't a good match. In what way? In every way. You're rich and I'm just a broke nobody. You take the high road and I'll take my shaky bridge. We aren't in the same world. Money isn't the issue, but self-respect is. I looked at her earnestly. I can pretend to be your boyfriend for money, but I can't be your real boyfriend because of money. If I did that, I'd despise myself. Bai Ningbing went silent. A flash of disappointment flickered in her eyes, but it quickly turned into understanding. I see. Sorry, I was being impulsive. After saying that, she turned back to her room. I sat alone on the balcony and finished the beer. I felt completely hollow inside. The next morning, Bai Ningbing got up very early. By the time I crawled off the sofa, she was dressed smartly, back to her usual arrogant CEO self. I have to go back to the company. My dad has backed down. Thank you for letting me stay here. This past while, her tone was back to being distant and formal. Oh, I replied, feeling a bit uncomfortable. She stopped at the door. Jibachu, our contract is still in effect. If I need you later, I'll find you. The pay stays the same. After saying that, she left. The door closed with a thud, seemingly shutting the door on something that had just begun to sprout between us. Jibadat arrived right at mealtime. Seeing that Bai Ningbing wasn't there, he looked disappointed. The goddess is gone? Yeah, I was cooking noodles without looking back. I told you, how could a phoenix stay in a chicken coop? He leaned in with a sly look. Hey, when she left, did she leave you a breakup fee or something? I scooped out the noodles and poured the sauce over them, ignoring him. What's wrong with you? You look depressed. He noticed. My abnormal behavior? Did you fight? No. Then you got dumped. Clatter. I slammed my chopsticks down on the table. Can't you wish for something better for me? Jibadat was startled and didn't dare say another word. I picked up my bowl and slurped away. The taste wasn't bad, just a bit salty, probably. From my own tears falling in, what was I thinking? After finishing the noodles, I told my brother what happened last night. Jibadat sat there dazed for a long time. No. Then he slapped his thigh and looked at me like I was an idiot. Jibakshu, oh, Jibakshu, is your brain broken? A billionaire goddess confessed to you and you rejected her? For what? For that worthless self-respect of yours? You wouldn't understand. I really don't. All I know is you just missed out on 350 billion. He was in agony. You just had to. Nod and the rest of your life, no, even your next life would be set. What are you still worried about? Worthy or not? She didn't even care, so why do you? She doesn't care now. But what about later? When the novelty wears off, she'll feel I'm not worthy of her. What do I do then? Just be like a dog she kicks away? Then let her kick you, Jibadat said heroically. Being kicked away by a billionaire isn't shameful. At least you had your glory days. But what about now? You're clinging to that tattered self-respect, and the result is you're still a broke loser. Go on, finish your 21,000 dong noodles. I was silenced because everything he said was the truth. Jibashu, his voice softened, I know you're proud, but you have to face reality. With backgrounds like ours, catching a chance like Bai Ningbing is like a miracle. If you miss it, it's gone. Badat sighed. Think it over. If you come to your senses, hurry up and win her back. For a man, being a bit thick-skinned isn't a disgrace. After saying that, he cleared the table and took the dishes to the kitchen to wash them. I sat alone in the living room for a long time. Was he right? Maybe, but in my heart, there was a voice telling me I couldn't do it. I might be poor or useless, but I can't lose my principles. Bai Ningbing and I started with a business contract. If I said yes to her now, our relationship would never escape that label. That's not what I want. My phone suddenly rang. It was a text from Bai Ningbing at 7 p.m. Tonight, there's a charity banquet at the same hotel as before. Chukai will be there. He's dug up some dirt on my company and plans to expose it at the party. Standard rules apply. Help me handle it. I looked at the text and gave a bitter laugh. See? In the end, it's still just a transaction. When I arrived at the hotel, Bai Ningbing was already waiting at the door. She was back to her cold, arrogant self. Seeing me, she just gave a nod. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Let's go. She spoke first, breaking the silence, then took my arm. Her arm was ice cold. The banquet hall was loud and bustling. As soon as we walked in, we attracted plenty of stares. The cake incident at the last charity event had already made Bai Ningbing and me celebrities in this circle. Chukai spotted us too. He was surrounded by a crowd, holding a drink. When he saw me, the hatred in his eyes almost turned physical. He held his glass and walked toward us. Well, if it isn't CEO Bai and her little boy toy. So, did that cake from last time taste good? The people around us burst into loud laughter. It was okay, I said, deadpan. Just a bit too sweet. Next time, I suggest you switch to a fruit flavor for something more refreshing. Chukai's face twitched. You brat, don't get cocky. He leaned close to my ear. Last time, Bai Ningbing protected you. Today, I'm gonna make sure. You walk in on your feet and leave on a stretcher. Sure thing, I nodded. But before I head out, can you let me get a bite to eat? I haven't had dinner yet. After saying that, I brushed past him and headed straight for the buffet. Bai Ningbing followed. Don't mind him, he's a total mad dog. I know. I picked up a plate and sliced a piece of salmon. How is he planning to move against you? He bribed one of my VPs to get a fake financial report. He wants to expose it at this party, right in front of the crowd, and claim my company is cooking the books. It would tank my stock price. Then where's your real report? It's with my assistant, but I can't reach him anymore. Bai Ningbing's brow furrowed. I suspect he might have been taken by Chukai's men. So what we need to do now is stall for time, then find my assistant. Got it. I popped a piece of salmon into my mouth and chewed. This mission cost extra. Bai Ningbing glanced at me with a very complicated look. 700 million? Deal. While we were talking, Chukai stepped onto the stage and took the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good evening everyone. Fell silent and looked at him. I'm standing here today because I want to use this opportunity to expose someone's true face. He pointed his spear directly at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing! You look like a powerful businesswoman on the outside, but behind the scenes, you're faking financial records and scamming shareholders to line your own pockets. He held up a stack of documents. I have the latest financial report from your company right here. It clearly states that your company is insolvent and on the verge of bankruptcy. As soon as those words came out, the hall erupted. Every eye was on Bai Ningbing. Her face immediately went pale. Chukai, you're framing me. Am I framing you? Everyone will see for themselves soon enough. Chukai sneered, preparing to project the documents on the large screen. The situation was critical. I looked at Chukai on the stage, then at Bai Ningbing, whose hands were freezing beside me. I knew it was time for me to make a move. I dashed toward the stage at a 100-meter sprint before anyone could. React. I snatched the mic out of Chukai's hand. Once again, every eye in the hall was on me. Chukai tried to lunge forward to grab the mic back, but I kicked him away. I looked at the massive crowd below the stage and yelled, "Ladies and gentlemen, everything young Master Chu just said is a lie. Don't believe a word of it." "Why?" someone from the crowd shouted back. I took a deep breath and used all my strength to shout, "Because he's secretly in love with me. He's doing all this just to get revenge on me. Revenge for stealing the woman he loved, Bai Ningbing. His love turned into hate since he couldn't have me. He wants to destroy me. Tell me, everyone. Isn't he a total creep?" Everyone was stunned. Chukai was frozen. He lay on the floor, pointing at me with his mouth wide open for a long time, unable to utter a single word. I looked at him, my gaze suddenly becoming sorrowful. "Brother Kai," I said in a heartbroken tone, "I know you love me, but feelings can't be forced. I'm already with Ningbing. It can never happen between us. Please, just let go." After saying that, I even gave him a flirtatious wink. Chukai's eyes rolled back, and he fainted right then and there. Chukai's men scrambled to carry him out. A meticulously planned business attack was dissolved by me in the most ridiculous way possible. Naturally, the banquet couldn't continue. Bai Ningbing dragged me out through the jaw-dropping stares of the crowd. As soon as we got in the car, she slumped over the steering wheel, shaking with laughter. "Jibachu, you're a genius." She laughed so hard she couldn't breathe, tears streaming down her face. "How did you come up with such a savage move?" "It's called giving him a taste of his own medicine." I calmly buckled my seatbelt. He liked throwing shade at me, right? So I threw a bigger bucket of shade back so he can never wash it off. Starting tomorrow, the rumor that the Chu family's eldest son is secretly in love with his rival and started a scandal out of spite will be the gossip of the year. This drama will spread through high society. Chukai won't be able to show his face anywhere. What about my assistant? Bai Ningbing finally stopped laughing long enough to remember the main task. "Don't worry." I pulled out my phone and called Jibadat. "Yo, it's done. Is the person safe?" "Not a hair out of place. Those puny bugs were handled in 3 seconds flat." "That's right." Before I charged the stage, I'd gotten the address where the assistant was being held and sent it to my brother. My brother might be unreliable usually, but he knows how to fight. Back in the day, he was a real street brawler. Bai Ningbing heard the voice on the phone and looked at me in shock. "When did you do this?" "Right when you told me the situation, I'd already arranged everything." I hung up the phone. I was in charge of drawing fire at the front, while my brother took out the rear. A two-pronged attack is the most effective. Bai Ningbing looked at me, and for the first time, her eyes showed genuine admiration. "Jibachu, I've definitely underestimated you. It's not too late to realize it. Remember to transfer those 700 million to my card. Also, my brother helped out a lot this time, so how about a little bonus for him?" "No problem." She started the car, her tone playful. "I'll give you as much as you want." The car glided through the night. Melodic music played inside the car. Neither of us said anything else, but the atmosphere was no longer awkward like when we first arrived. After a long while, she suddenly spoke. "Jibachu, thank you." "No problem. I just did what I was paid for." She went quiet for a bit, then said, "Not just for today, but for last time too. Back at my house. Thank you for not taking that 3.5 billion. That's just because I'm stupid." I mocked myself with a smile. "If it were now, I'd probably take the money and run." "No, you wouldn't," she said firmly. "You're not that kind of person." I looked at the neon lights flashing past the window. "I'm not that kind of person? Even I don't know anymore." The next day, I became a legend in the circle. Everyone knew that Bai Ningbing had a man by her side named Jibakshu. His background was unknown, and his actions were reckless. With just his mouth, he had made the eldest Chu's son faint on the spot. Some said I was a boy toy kept by Bai Ningbing. Some said I was a secret weapon she'd hired. Others said I was actually the heir to a powerful clan. Unexpectedly, someone said, "Actually, I am the heir to a great family." hidden somewhere to experience life. The rumors became more wild by the day. My brother, Jibadat, also successfully rescued CEO Bai's assistant and received a 350 million bonus from Bai Ningbing. The way he looks at me now is like he's looking at a god. Bro, you are truly the pride of our G family now, he held. Cash, grinning from ear to ear. From now on, I'm rolling with you. I didn't even bother with him because I was busy answering the phone. My phone was practically exploding. The callers were all strangers, but they were all loaded. Hello, is this Mr. Jibachu? I'm the manager of Daxian Group. I need your help with something. Price is negotiable. Hi. Mr. G, I'm Mrs. Wang. I suspect my husband is seeing someone else. I want you to step in and ruin their little affair. That's when I realized that battle didn't just make me famous, it made me a viral sensation. It seems I accidentally pioneered a whole new business niche, professional trouble resolver, specializing in helping wealthy people solve problems they can't personally get their hands dirty with. I looked at each strange call coming in, then at the 700 million. Bai Ningbing just transferred. I suddenly felt that my rundown apartment was no longer worthy of my net worth. I rented a proper office, not big, but in a prime location. I even registered a company. The name was simple and direct, New Vision Consulting, the Trouble Terminator. On opening day, it was just the two of us. I was the CEO and chief trouble resolver. My brother, Ji Badat, was the head of security and the company driver. Bai Ningbing sent a flower. Stand with a note. Happy. Grand opening. May the wealth flow in. Signed, your number one client. Hey little bro, do you think this company of ours is actually going to work? Ji Badat looked at the empty office, feeling a bit nervous. Don't worry. I sat in my newly bought executive chair and crossed my legs. We're targeting the high-end market. We don't need a lot of customers. One big job can feed us for 3 years. Right as I finished, the office door swung open. A lady dressed in flashy jewelry strutted in. Excuse me, is this the Trouble Terminator? Ji Badat and I looked at each other, both seeing the excitement in our eyes. Our first gig had arrived. I signaled for her to sit. That's right. What kind of trouble are you facing? The lady had barely sat down before she started sobbing and venting. My husband has a mistress. That Vixen is barely 20, a college student. My husband is so obsessed with her that he won't come home anymore. He even wants a divorce. So what do you want us to do? I want to make that Vixen's reputation rot. Make her leave my husband on her own. That's easy. I nodded. However, our service fee depends on the level of trouble. Your case falls under the family morality tier. Starting price is 1.75 billion. No problem. As long as you can solve it, money is no issue. She paid a 700 million deposit on the spot. After seeing her out, Jibadat excitedly rubbed his hands together. Dude, 1.75 billion. We're about to be filthy rich. Stay calm. I patted his shoulder. This is just the beginning. Now go investigate that student's info for me. Jibadat was incredibly efficient now. In half a day, he brought me the files. The student was named Lele, currently at the Film Academy. She was indeed very beautiful. She loved posting selfies on social media, flexing luxury items like some high society girl living a peaceful life. How are you gonna do it? Making a scene at her school is too low class. I shook my head. To deal with a green tea bitch like this, you have to use magic. To defeat magic, I told Jibadat to register a new social media account. We used a photo of a buff guy from the internet and built a persona, a rich second-gen heir just back from abroad with a family-owned gold mine. Then I started using this account to like every one of Lele's posts. I left comments that were peak green tea style. You're so beautiful. Are you an angel? I bought this same bag for my maid last month, but she complained it wasn't good enough. Your apartments. Security is trash. Want me to gift you a villa downtown? Just consider it a get-to-know-you gift. At first, Lele played hard to get, but who could withstand? My money-themed onslaught, I had Jibadat enter her livestream and gift her hundreds of millions worth of virtual items. Lele's attitude did a total 180. She started DMing me first. Every word she sent was loaded with hints. I ghosted her for a few days, then invited her to a cafe in a luxury hotel to meet up. Of course, the person who went wasn't me, but an actor. I paid to hire a bald old man over 60 with a greasy beer belly. I made him wear a designer suit, rented a fake gold watch, and had him log into the Rich Air account. Jibadat and I sat at a nearby table to watch the show. Lele arrived on time wearing a sexy spaghetti strap dress and exquisite makeup. When she saw that greasy old man grinning and waving at her, her facial expression was an absolute classic. Are you Long Nai Ocean? Lele's voice was trembling. That's right, baby. The old man grinned, his wrinkles deepening to reveal yellow teeth. I'm your Nyoshin. Don't I look more masculine in person than in photos? Lele's face went pale. She glanced at the old man's wrist, a shiny fake gold watch, then at the designer paper bags beside him with huge logos. Her face twisted like she'd been constipated for 10 days. What's wrong, baby? Don't recognize me? The old man said as he reached out to grab her hand. Lele snapped her hand back like she'd been electrocuted. Don't touch me, she screamed. You scammer. Weren't you a rich second-gen heir? Why do you look like this? Yo. I am a rich second-gen heir. The old man acted innocent. My dad has over a dozen houses from government compensation. Baby, stay with me, and I promise you'll live in luxury. Come here. I bought this bag for you. It's the latest model. He handed over a grade A knockoff bag. Lele looked at the bag, then back at the old man, feeling like her whole worldview was being destroyed. If she actually followed this old man, she'd have to face this mug every single day. She burst into tears, turned around, and ran without looking back. Jibadat and I watched with the dropped jaws. Damn, bro, that move was brutal. Jibadat gave me a thumbs up. It's called a precision strike. I took a sip of coffee. She was never after feelings. She was after money. I just showed her the ugliest reality that can exist behind money. That same night, the lady client called, her voice overflowing with joy. Mr. G, you're a literal god. That vixen actually initiated the breakup. With my husband today, she even returned everything he ever gave her. She said she needs to go find true love. The remaining 1.05 billion was quickly transferred to our account. The company's first mission was a perfect success. From then on, our reputation grew. The clients coming to our door became increasingly strange. Someone wanted us to convince their son to stop streaming and come home to inherit the family estate. Someone wanted us to test their fiancé to see if he truly loved them. There was even a celebrity who wanted us to create a harmless scandal to boost his fame. Jibadat and I had to deal with these bizarre people and situations every day. It was exhausting but thrilling, I realized. I was born for this job. I could easily see through the weaknesses of human nature, then use the most direct, effective, and ridiculous ways to solve their problems. Bai Ningbing became a regular at our company, but she wasn't coming to me to block suitors anymore. Instead, it was to handle business rivals. For example, a rival company was trying to outmaneuver her, steal her top-tier tech team. I went undercover as a headhunter to approach the person in charge of that team and painted him a picture, a massive pipe dream, tricking him all the way to Africa to survey a diamond mine project that didn't even exist. By the time he realized he'd been played and crawled back looking like a mess, Bai Ningbing had already stabilized her team. Another time, a competitor intentionally hoarded raw materials trying to suffocate Bai Ningbing's company. So I spread a rumor claiming that those materials were found to contain potent carcinogens. Overnight, all the stock that rival had hoarded was stuck in his hands. He lost everything, down to the last cent. My tactics were getting dirtier, but my reputation in that circle was becoming legendary. Many people feared me. They said Jibachu was a madman, a devil who feared nothing. They were right. I am a madman, but I know I'm not a devil. I'm just a bigger trouble specialized in ending other troubles. Once the company was on track, I treated myself to a vacation. I drove that Mercedes back to my hometown. When my parents saw me, they were startled. They looked at my car, at my clothes worth tens of millions, and thought I'd joined some illegal organization. It took me several days to make them believe their son was now the boss of a legitimate company, even if the business itself was a bit sketchy. I bought my family a big house and sent my parents a huge retirement fund. Seeing the happy smiles on their faces for the first time, I felt like money truly was a good thing. Returning from my hometown, the first thing I did was find Bai Ningbing. I took the card she gave me, that black card with no password, and returned it to her. What's this for? She asked. I haven't touched a single cent in here. I'm returning it now. She looked at the card, then at me. What is the meaning of this? Do you want to draw a clear line between us? Hey, it has the word zoo engraved on it. Looking at her, I felt a bit nervous. My palms were sweating. The company recently took on a new mission. What mission? Marriage experience. The client is you, the service provider is me. The service duration is a lifetime. I took a deep breath and dropped to one knee. The service includes eating with you, arguing with you, helping you chase away every annoyance, and always being by your side whenever you need. As for the fee, I paused for a moment, looking straight into her eyes. The fee is you, so CEO Bai, are you willing to hire me? Bai Ningbing was stunned. In her eyes, there was surprise, emotion, and that familiar look of trying to hold back a laugh that I knew all too well. After a long while, She reached out her hand. You jerk! Even your proposal sounds like a business deal. I slipped the ring onto her finger. Not too big, not too small. A perfect fit. After that, Bai Ningbing and I got married. The wedding was very private, with only a few close friends invited. My brother, Jibadat, served as the best man and cried even harder than I did. Chukai didn't show up. Word is, after that secret crush incident, he developed severe social anxiety and hasn't stepped out of his house in ages. My company continues to operate. Business is getting more prosperous and the troubles that find us grow by the day. But I'm not afraid anymore because by my side, I have someone I can face every trouble with.